Welcome back. Violent clashes breaking out in the streets of Hong Kong on the 70th anniversary of the People's Republic of China. For more on the latest developments, let's bring in Olivia Enos, Senior Policy Analyst at the Heritage Foundation. Olivia, thanks so much for joining us. Gauge for us exactly how much the violence has picked up over these 70th anniversary celebrations relative to the peak of it over the summer months.
Well, last night marked the most violent evening of protest. We, of course, saw an 18-year-old student allegedly shot by a Hong Kong security force operations policeman. And, this was the first shot that has taken place. This came in the midst of immense violence from both protesters as well as security forces, where you saw protesters actually, in some cases, throwing petrol bombs into the metro stations. You saw a number of activities that you would say are generally violent. And I think this is why many in the international community are calling for an independent investigation into the conduct of the Hong Kong security forces, but also in general calling for peaceful protests. These protests have been by and large peaceful. This marks an abrogation from that norm, and there is hopefully going to be a return to those more peaceful beginnings, which have traditionally marked these protests.
Olivia, what is it going to take for these protests to actually, I guess, come to an end? What do protesters actually want now, and how will this play out?
Of course, the protests originally started in response to an extradition bill, which would have enabled any individual for any reason at Beijing's request to be extradited to China. That posed an existential threat to freedom in Hong Kong and was a great reason for people to take to the streets. But as protests continued, really we saw demands proliferating. And so there's been a call, of course, for Carrie Lam, the chief executive in Hong Kong, to resign. There's also been a call for an independent investigation into the police brutality. I think that these are the types of calls that are now, central and a focus. But I think at the end of the day, there's a real need for the protesters to go back to the drawing board and to make sure that they still have legitimate reasons for taking to the streets. That central claim that they want to defend freedom and liberty there needs to be the primary motivating factor.
Olivia, this is one we're going to continue to watch closely. Thank you for putting it in context for us, Olivia Enos.